Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to begin with our workshop today. So we'll leave it to our facilitator, Jill Rydell, to begin. Thank you.
Hi, so my name is Jill Rydell. I work at Canadore College. I am the professor and coordinator of the General Carpentry Apprenticeship programs. At this time, I would like to acknowledge that Canadore College resides on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe in lands protected by the Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850. This land is occupied by the people of Nipissing First Nation. And we are going to move through the slides, and our fantastic speakers will introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandy Ferens. I am a 313A refrigeration mechanic and gas fitter 1, as well as an HVAC instructor and an HVAC and women in skilled trades mentor. And I'm currently in the town of Whitchurch, Stouffville, and it acknowledges this land is the treaty territory of the Williams Nations. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rokaya Gay. People call me Rock. I am a carpenter. I am the Community Partnership Coordinator at Carpenters Regional Council and the Ontario Chair of all the Sisters in the Brotherhood of Carpenters Union for the province of Ontario, and as well a graduate of George Brown College in Construction Engineering Technician Management. So really humbled and honored to be here today. I sit in the City of Toronto, the traditional territory of many nations, including Mississaugas of the Credit and the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples. Thank you. Sorry, French is coming out first, so I did need to make sure. And I should say bonjour. Thank you.
Dancer, my name is Nikki Miswagon. I am a level 3 electrician in Manitoba. I'm also the program manager at Keewatin Tribal Council. I am a graduate of Manitoba Institute of Trades and Technology. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I am on Treaty 5 territory in the district of Keewatin, the traditional lands of the Swampy Cree of Lake Winnipeg, Anishinaabe, Denisovan, and Anishinaabe peoples. Thank you.
Hello and good morning. My name is Christine Quist and I'm a production horticulturist. I'm a business owner and currently living in Nanaimo, which is the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw peoples. I am working as a chair and instructor in the Horticulture Technician Foundation Certificate Program at Vancouver Island University. I'm very grateful to be part of this panel. Thank you.
Oh, you're on mute, Jill.
Sorry about that. So I will be the facilitator today. So we have a few slides that I'm going to go through and kind of introduce what we're talking about today. And then we will move towards the series of questions for our panelists. So empowering women and girls. By empowering women and girls, women are keepers of the land. Women act in ways to promote climate sustainability. However, women are underrepresented in climate policy and the decision-making. We need to work towards equal representation from all backgrounds in education and listen to women. We are the most powerful tools to work towards green building and address climate change. I was actually fortunate to be part of greening construction trades in Canada, and we developed a training modules for anyone to use. It's a resource that equips instructors with tools and knowledge to integrate climate change, awareness, Indigenous perspectives into the construction trades and education. The objective is to support a sector pivot to net zero building. Why are we here today? Women are 14 times more likely to die from climate change impacts. Women represent 80% of the people displaced by extreme weather. We have a huge shortage of trades workers in Canada, up to 500,000, and women and gender diverse people can fill that void. Interesting, Claudia Sheinbaum was elected president in Mexico just recently. She is a climate scientist. She is a decision maker, and that's what we need. 2019 study found that national parliaments with more women pass more stringent climate policies. Women are the best defense against climate change due to their values as drivers of economic growth, as educators, caregivers, farmers, entrepreneurs, and above all, as leaders. But they need to be supported. Everyone needs to be supportive of women going into leadership roles and gender diverse people. All people need to support climate action. This is everybody's responsibility. So empowering women and girls are already adapting to climate change and are a powerful force for mitigation and sustainability. Even in increasingly frequent crises and disasters, women tend to act in ways that promote climate sustainability while they fight to improve or restore their situation in the places they live. We need equal representation. And at this point, we are going to move to the questions. I will basically read each question. I might put my spin on the questions or not. And some or all of our panelists will answer. So the first question is, what is your field of training? What are you certified in? And what prompted you to follow that path? All panelists will answer that question, and I actually will start. My field of training, general carpentry. I am a licensed carpenter and I have my certification apprenticeship as well. What prompted me to follow that path? I was really fortunate. My dad was a contractor and he was ahead of his time back in the 80s. That let his daughter work on his job sites, and I was able to follow my passion by being introduced to the trades very young. And we will go on to our other panelists to answer that.
Oh, sorry, are we going alphabetically? Sorry about that. I'm a
no, you know what? I can fire out the names. So Nikki, we'll go first.
Hi. So my field of training is in construction electrician. I'm currently an apprentice. I'm soon to be certified. So that's like a really great opportunity for me. I started out by getting certified as a fiber optic technician. I know it's like totally off topic. And then I started doing solar installation, which like brought me to the idea of possibly getting into the electrical field. And I took that training with my younger brother, and he was ultimately one who pushed me to go to school with him. So we became electricians and we started doing construction electrician and doing solar installation together. And that is my take on that question.
Okay, next up we'll have Christine.
Thanks. So I was prompted to get into the horticulture industry as I have a background in agriculture. My family come from a family of farmers. And I actually, to be honest, got into it as I thought maybe I could do this for the rest of my life. But when I started my horticulture training, I just fell in love with plants and everything about plants and observing the relationship between the plants and the animals and local ecosystems. And over the years, I followed the Skilled Trades BC pathway to become a certified production horticulturist, which led us into owning a business. And now in education, working as instructing as a horticulture instructor.
Rock, would you like to go next?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Yes, for me, I've been always passionate about building that are being, like just building architectural designs and infrastructures that are like, just when you're walking in the city and see so many different designs and so many constructions, I was always really passionate and wanted to learn about it. And then what I did is I went into George Brown College and did construction engineering technician because I wanted to really understand the holistic, the entire team who's really building, who's working and making a design come to life, from the architectural to engineers to the carpenters. But fast forward, I ended up applying and going into Toronto Community Benefit Network when I was trying to find out about construction, how can I go back? And from there, which led me to Chris Campbell, who got me to sign up with Carpenters Union. And since then, I signed up with my General Carpenter Apprenticeship program. So I'm doing my apprenticeship. I'm a third-year apprentice, but got fortunate enough with all the experience and everything I've been doing. I got hired as the Community Partnership Coordinator. However, when I'm talking about my experience, I've volunteered at Habitat for Humanity, building framing houses, became the crew lead there, build playgrounds, did a lot of renovation. So when it comes to building the city and building connection, it's something that I'm really that I really love. So we'll be working towards getting my red seal. But in the meantime, with the construction engineering and all the other certificates that I have, yes, so that's what I do. Thank you.
And we have Brandy up next.
Thanks. I'm a licensed Red Seal 313A refrigeration and air conditioning mechanic with a gas fitter 1 ticket. Started in the trades about 20 years ago. And it was after being the first person in my family to go to university that I gave my parents their extremely expensive degree. And I went and I worked in a bar for 10 years because there was no way I could ever sit at a desk. As you might see during this hour, I'm very, very high energy. What I love to moving forward in my career that I never saw coming was the opportunity to teach. So I teach my trade now at a local college, as well as mentoring for a nonprofit. And just 2 years ago, I got to add the word entrepreneur to my list because I started my own company, Fair Trades Toolbox, to really help with the retention of women in skilled trades through education.
What a dynamic crew we have here, eh? Okay, so I'm going to just break into question number 2, and Nikki and Brandy are going to answer this question. So the question is, what certifications do you think are critical to your field, and how would you inspire other women to become certified? While I have the mic, I'm just going to mention for carpentry, you want to go through the apprenticeship and achieve your red seal for sure. And any safety training certification you can get during that journey is also very beneficial. So we will let Nikki answer this question next, and then we'll go to Brandy.
Hello. Yeah, so like you said, with the apprenticeship, you're obtaining your Red Seal certification is like the standard of excellence, and it's highly recognized in Canada, which allows us to work interprovincially. So I think that is the top one, plus also the safety certifications you get. So it's like WMIS, and then for electrical, it's like arc flash, and then you got all your safety trainings that you can possibly get. I have a few under my belt that really come in handy on the field, but certifications are crucial to ensure skill development, safety, and career advancements. And then how I think it can inspire other women to become, how we can inspire other women to become certified is that certifications can lead to career advancement, higher salary, increased job satisfaction, and achieving professional goals. By offering scholarships and financial assistance specifically aimed at women pursuing certifications, should not hold back qualified women from advancing their careers So by obtaining these certifications, they can also help with your career development. Sorry, I'm just a little under the weather here. Yeah, by doing that, we can create awareness about the benefits of certification through workshops and information sessions, just as this one that we are in today. So it can address any misconceptions or concerns that women have before entering the field. Okay, that's all I got for this question. Jill.
I think I'll go next. So for my field specifically, one of the ways I like to say I snuck in the back door, I actually was a 306A plumbing apprentice first, and that was coming out of a pre-apprentice carpentry program. So I've tried to find my way into HVAC, and it was definitely not a straight line, but now what's great is the gas fitter license. The gas fitter 3 is a license. I actually was working full time and I went to school to get it at night. So it has 0 prerequisites and it is fairly flexible evenings and weekends, depending on the place that's delivering the ticket. So for HVAC specifically, in Canada, we need to have a gas license to work on anything gas fired. And most places have an air conditioner with a gas fired furnace place or a rooftop unit, for a couple examples. So that's one way that's really great to sneak in. If you have the opportunity, working at heights is huge. Obviously, we spend most of our days on rooftops. Are high up in the air. I feel like a superhero some days, just missing the cape. So any type of working at heights or additional certification like that will definitely help you get into the trade. The gas fitter license even comes prior to usually to securing an apprenticeship. So for most of the time, we don't have laborers in our trade per se, but you'll start off as what they call a maintenance mechanic. But that gas fitter license is really your ticket in. I call it the big toe in the door. It's a 3-tiered ticket, and the gas fitter 1 being the highest. So we go 3, 2, 1. And for me, I like to inspire other women to become certified by just like reaching out. So lately I've been doing a lot of lunch and learn workshops just for women that have never touched a tool before, because that's where I was. And I'm sure Rock will laugh at this. When I went to school for my gas fitter 3, I was working at a bar. And for the first part of the class, my instructor, like the first couple of weeks, he's talking about a union, which I assumed was an organization of people. But in my trade, it's actually a pipe fitting that joins 2 pieces of hard pipe together. But I was 2 weeks in before I realized that this was actually a piece of a fitting, a pipe fitting he was talking about. So that's how green I was. So I'd never picked up a tool before. And you know what, going for myself, like going to workshops, or if you see one available, that'll just get your hands on the tools and it gives you a little bit of experience. It's really inspiring. Most women I find, when you come in and they're a little hesitant, we do some tools in the trades workshops where they do little soldering projects. And some women, once they put their hands on that torches, you just see their faces light up. So it's one way to inspire others.
It's fantastic advice. We're going to ask Rock to also answer this particular question.
Thank you very much, Jill. Yes, when it comes to joining Carpenters Union, or what the question is, what are the certification, or what is the question again? Sorry.
The question is, Rock, what certifications do you think are critical to your field, and how would you inspire other women to become certified?
Yes, the certification that is really critical would be, you mentioned it earlier, as a general carpenter apprentice, to get the red seal. However, usually when it comes to carpentry, we do have compulsory and non-compulsory. You are able to also go do the residential trim and work. When it comes to, for me, it's really essential. It's important to really get the red seal, because from there you're promoting, you're making sure that you're able to work anywhere. You're able to work any provinces in Canada. You'll be able to work also in the US. So it's really important to do the schooling. When we're talking about the apprenticeship program, it is a combination of hands-on experience, 90% at the job site, and the other 10% will be in class training, where you'll do the basic. And you will be learning all the ropes, everything that you're really doing at the job site, like for instance, form work. And when you're doing the intermediate, you're building a model home from foundation to the roof. So it's something that you're really learning according to the building code. So you get to really build and know how to build safely, so on and so forth. When it comes to the and then you have the advance that you need to complete. And then once you do your 7,200 hours, like working Monday to Friday or working 1,800, it's three. Once you finish those 7,200 hours, then you could go write the redsing, and then the government will issue you that certificate. So it's really essential for us to really go get it and be able to know your trade and your craft. So when it comes to women, what would I really say for women to really, what I say to inspire women is like, if for instance you have any doubt, just go for it. Because for me, when it comes to construction, like I used to be petrified of heights, and most people will tell you you will not survive when it comes to being in construction if you're afraid of heights. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, but I was able to really face my fears by becoming a scaffolder and by making sure that I remove that I cannot and saying that, yes, I can. And from there, day in, day out, working, facing that fear. And afterward, I was able to build scaffold 50-story high. So if, for instance, I could really do it, believe me, anyone can do it. So just go for it and have a mentor that will be able to guide you, just like in what Vendor was saying, making sure that you don't, no matter how green you are, just go for it and then you'll learn. Thank you.
Yes, that was great advice, and thanks for running the apprenticeship system so well. Awesome. And I do remember the first time I was on heights and I froze, but you push through it. And by the end of the day, you're running up and down the roof system that you're on. So, okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question. And this question, Christine and Brandy, we have to answer this. So your question is, what are key sustainable practices that you have adopted or encouraged to reduce greenhouse gases in your trade or within your finished product? Example, operational carbon versus embodied carbon. And we have a slide that we put in. And basically, your embodied carbon is what happens prior to the building. So the excavation and transportation and manufacturing of all the materials used, and then the building process. And then we have our operational carbon, which is the building itself. Your power, HVAC systems, water, and for the lifespan of that building. And then on to embodied, which is demolition, hauling away, and where does it end up in the landfill or recycled? I'm just a quick talking about embodied carbon. I drive to work every day, and I can't help but look at a job site that has. I noticed it because there was 8 trucks parked on the road, and there was 2 parked on the job site, and I counted the workers, and so 10 trucks, there was 10 workers. And I'm like thinking, right there, that's a simple change people can make by reducing that embodied carbon and maybe carpool. Anyway, that's how women think, right? So we will let Christine go first on this question.
Thanks. So like I mentioned, I'm a practicing horticulturist, but this question I'd like to answer from my lens as a horticulture educator. So I feel like one of the most important aspects of my job, maybe Brandy, you can relate to this as well, is to empower students through problem solving and critical thinking skills. So they have the ability to make informed choices that they can use to assess like the climate change crisis, assess embodied carbon, operational carbon decisions, and identify how their actions as horticulturists impact the industry and the environment. For example, there's a range of horticulture practices available to choose from, and some have more sustainable outcomes than others. For example, once in industry, students can choose if they want to just pave over a garden, or if they want to install gravel and no plants, or if they want to install a lawn, or remove a lawn and install a rose garden, or remove the lawn, install a meadow with plants endemic to the region. And all of those decisions, all of those choices have a different impact on the people, the plants, and the animals living in that area. So I think empowering students to make informed choices requires them to consider their relationship with the land that they work on and provides them with the opportunity to mindfully select practices knowing that they may enhance or disrupt the ecosystems that they work in. So in short, like providing those opportunities for students to consider, reflect on their choices and their actions, and to like build in the larger ecosystem which they live is one of the most sustainable practices that I've adopted as an educator.
Awesome. Okay, so we have Brandy up next.
Thank you. Specifically for my trade, HVAC, things are just moving so quickly when it comes to this topic, which I love. Unfortunately, it can be a very wasteful trade at times, but we're adopting new refrigerants that will definitely help, as well as green buildings. So energy efficient buildings using special automation systems. So you've probably seen it in commercials. You know, the lights come on as the individual walks down the hallway in the building, right? So we're not wasting power, leaving lights on. Smart thermostats have been around for a long time, but again, it's educating people. They've become much more affordable. So you know what, we put setbacks. So we raise the temperature up a bit in the summer and lower it a bit more in the winter. So we're not using so much energy during peak times, as well as our units are becoming really efficient. So we have these variable speed motors. So we're using less energy as a whole, just operating the equipment. And also I've worked in a lot of bigger factories where we're actually using what would be waste steam, and we're using those to power our equipment. So like specifically a chiller is amazing. There's one car plant, they're using waste steam from their boilers and they're using it to power a steam turbine that then makes cold water for their process. So a lot of exciting things happening surrounding this area. And it's really exciting with, as Christine's mentioned, you know, I find younger people coming in, students are very aware. I'm working on a modular home build right now. And this place that makes modular homes out of shipping containers, they only generate 2 bins of garbage per year. It's just, it blows my mind. So much interesting things coming up in our world. Thank you.
Question 4, we're going to move on to, and it is, we're going to have Christine and maybe Rock comment on this question. What role do you think post-secondary education plays in green education, including courses, culture, applied research, in future-proofing, including climate change mitigation and adaptation? And I will let Christine take that one on right now.
Okay, thanks. So the role that I think post-secondary institutions and educators have in bringing awareness to green thinking and practices is to, again, like present students with the learning opportunities to encourage them to develop the green mindsets and become regional hubs of expertise. And one way that that can be done is to incorporate applied research projects into the curriculum that present students with opportunities to consider practical and specific problems of the modern world, like we're discussing today. Like the issues connected to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change relevant to their industry. And investigating these real world problems, finding innovative solutions in the classroom can be motivating to students because we're naturally curious beings. We want to know the answers to things. And it also encourages the combination of theoretical knowledge and practical skills that students can use to solve those current issues that they're going to need to know the answers to once they're in industry. And often these applied research projects involve building relationships with industry partners, which then broaden student learning through that wider network of people and support students developing wider skills that meet the challenges of diverse and dynamic roles in industry. So incorporating these industry relevant applied research projects into the curriculum, post-secondary institutions and educators can provide students with opportunities to expand learning outside of the classroom into that interconnected web of the industry that they work in and the communities that they live in. And this can have an impact on how and what students learn and have an impact on the classroom culture, which may transfer to industry once students graduate. And ultimately, practicing this problem-solving innovation in the classroom can help students become leaders in the industry as it continues to evolve.
So agreed, Christine. Thank you so much. Rock, could you comment on this question?
Absolutely. Christine really got it bang on. So when it comes to empowering those youth, we want to make sure that they're the future leaders. So by making sure that she already covered it really, because you're inspiring them and making sure that they're they're leaders in sustainability. You know, they're advocating and implementing like practices for future careers, making sure also they're collaborating, which she mentioned, with future different industries, right? Because when they're partnering with those leaders, will be able to integrate those practices automatically, and they'll be able to also learn use technologies that really help with curriculums, help with also ensuring that the students are really prepared in the evolving market, making sure also they understand when it comes to the climate change and the environment, what are the raw elements that we need to use when you're building. For instance, as carpenters, for instance, we use wood, and wood for centuries has been used, and it's something that is really good for the environment. Making sure also they develop specialized courses for those students, so that at least they are learning about renewable energy, environmental science, and like just to equip those students with the tools that they need so that they could be successful. And like fostering also a culture that they have an eye into making sure that they understand what are the what is impacting negatively the environment, and how do you get to the root cause to resolve those issues? Because once you know the root cause, you'll be able to find solutions, and then from there it becomes something, a culture, and something that they could do. She already said it so nicely that I don't want to go repeat the same thing, so just adding those in there would be good, and just making sure we promote, making sure that it's there. We find those youth where they are on social media, so on and so forth, just being able to let them know in their own words, so on and so forth, so that they understand climate change, they understand what is sustainability, what is really how they could just be successful. I don't want to go, my time's up, maybe. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Christine and Rock. Yeah, you've captured it all for sure. You've got the students there, there's the audience right there, and they're there to learn, and they are our future change makers, right? So we educate them, we empower them, and we're going to have the positive results. Okay, so we are going to move on to question number 5. We're going to have everyone comment on that. So the question is, what recommendations do you have for our deans, the colleges, employers, mentors, or anyone else wanting to welcome and attract more women and gender diverse people in the trade? I'll comment on that right now. I'm super fortunate to have a dean, a female, very strong leader at Canadore, and so I guess if we're having the conversation, gender balance in hiring staff, continuing to support pre-apprenticeship programs that we've run successfully at the college that are specifically geared to women. Continue to and educate our marketing teams, so when they're recruiting, they're not stereotyping and looking at recruiting just the one gender, and looking at recruiting for all genders, and making sure that they're well versed and educated when they're out in recruiting. And introducing youth to trades. Some of the things we do here are have workshops for grade 7 and 8s, and they come and they spend time in all of our trade shops. And I feel that if the youth are introduced to the trades when they're young, such as myself, you realize that you can, it's an occupation that you can follow. So I will now pass it over to, let's go with Nikki.
Hello, hi. My recommendation to attract more women to more women and gender diverse people into the trades is to create inclusive outreach programs for everyone, to provide financial incentives like scholarships, and develop mentorship initiatives to support diverse students. I think by creating mentorship programs, we can offer guidance and shared experiences to inspire women and support newcomers by publicizing successful stories, collaborating on diverse initiatives and advocating for supporting policies that can further promote gender diversity in the trades. So that is my take on that question. Thank you, Jill.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nikki. We'll have Christine up next.
Thanks. Well, when I think about my own experience as a student and my experience teaching students and my experience as a professional horticulturist, something I found helpful in the classroom and the workplace is finding a sense of belonging and safety. So it'd be my recommendation to those decision makers and to foster a safe learning and work environment by building meaningful relationships and providing space to allow women and gender diverse people to find that sense of belonging, that place of belonging. In the learning environment and the workplace. And I think there are several well-known best practices that we're aware of, like creating healthy, inclusive, equitable, harassment-free, bullying-free, discrimination-free environments, which I would also recommend. However, I encourage folks to apply, in addition to best practices, apply best thinking. And that's really to understand the specific needs of the individual women and gender diverse people who are working in certain workplaces, in companies, or in learning environments, and get to know them as people and foster strong relationships and build trust in that way.
Great comments, Christine. You're so right on that. Okay, we're going to have Rock comment on this question.
Not to repeat what my sisters already said, but what I could definitely also add would be when it comes to representation, it matters, you see it, you be it. So being able to really have role models where people they're sharing successful stories, just like having this type of platform, being able to promote and educate, provide information showing that women do bring a specific skill, skills that they bring to the table, being able to also let them know that they could do it. Whatever they put their mind to it, it's really key to just go for it, making sure that they have mentors as well. Because without the mentors and it's really hard to really know you're starting from scratch, but the mentor will be there to guide you, to support you, being able to really provide you their network as well. And for instance, and also having those entrepreneurs, making sure that like Christine already mentioned, that safe space, creating those safe spaces are really, really essential for women. Like recently, there was a legislative that was announced last month about having menstrual product in major construction sites, job sites, and with the clean washrooms. So as a woman, when it's time of the month, pardon me saying that, you need to be in a clean washroom so that you'll be able to be you have that dignity. So it's really essential to have that. And that's also help with retention, not only promoting to get more sisters, but we want them, and siblings, but we want them also to stay and get their certificate. So that would be really essential. That's what I would definitely say. Thank you.
Thanks, Rock. And we're going to have comments from Brandy next.
So I'll go the other way because I know we've all covered everything. So I kind of like bringing up the caboose here. So my efforts with Fair Trade's Toolbox surround education. So by working with employers and organizational leaders to educate their predominantly male teams on the culture shift that will happen when they bring women onto the team is essential. If we don't first address the pain points of their existing staff, women will not stay with those companies. 20 years in, I've been the only female, the first female, and you know what? I've been left to manage the personalities. So by educating employers and their existing male-dominated teams, providing that support, and let's be honest, having an uncomfortable conversation. That's how it all starts, right? Because the efforts need to go towards retention. And again, with every other point we've all already mentioned, if we combine all of those things together, you know, it's just a win-win. Like we can't lose in that scenario, but it's really, it comes from the top down. We can all have our support groups, our mentorship, everything. But if change doesn't come from the top down and our leaders are not walking that talk, then we're still up for a very, very steep battle. So through education, mentorship, those pieces are just, they combine together so nicely.
Yes, Brandy, you summed that up really, really well. You hit the nail on the head for sure. Collectively, everything, right, is what's going to make that difference. Okay, so we have question number 6, and we're all going to comment on this question as well. So basically, what can you say why we need to celebrate women in trades? So I'll go first on that. June 15th is Worldwide Women in Trades Day. These are our trailblazers and should be celebrated because they're breaking down the barriers and also empowering the new generation. Our job sites are starting to look different and they're going to continue to look different. And so, yeah, it's definitely worth celebrating. Nikki, I'll let you comment on that next.
Yes, I hope you guys all celebrated June 15 the way I did as well. It was a very good day to celebrate. I was out promoting women in trades and everything out in DC at the Retrofit Conference, so it was a very good atmosphere over there. But I really do think we need to celebrate women in trades to recognize and support their contributions to promote gender equality and inspire future generations, as we all are doing right now. So I'll pass it down to the next wonderful woman here and hear what she has to say.
Okay, we'll have Christine up next.
Thanks. I think something that I'm reminded of time and time again is that together we're 100%. And showcasing a certain percent of that 100% women and gender diverse people in trades is really important aspect because together we're making a whole and going to make a difference together. And that'd be my big takeaway from supporting and celebrating women in trades.
Thanks, Christine. Rock?
I would say that we are just amazing human beings. And when it comes to women, 50% or 80% of the population, it's us. And we are vulnerable to climate change. We have our own way of bringing inclusivity. Sorry, the French was going to come out, which is almost the same word anyways. We have a way of coming and doing the work. So just being able to, if we're given the tools and the time, we're able to do as much work as possible. So yes, celebrating women is really essential, very important. And I'm biased, I'm a woman. Thank you.
Thanks, Rock. Great comments and capturing from everybody. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. So.
Oh, would I be able to comment on that?
Oh my God, sorry, Brandy.
No, okay. I didn't know. I was gonna just say, I love what everyone's saying anyway, but as far as celebrating women, I love to celebrate solutions, and women are the solution to our skilled trades labor shortage. And by having that diversity, the statistics don't lie, employee satisfaction goes up, retention goes up in companies, and as a result, employers will make more money, which at the end of the day, we realize they're just looking to run a business. So I just think we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate that solution, which is us. So that's what I just wanted to add. Thank you.
Thanks, Brandy, and my apologies for skipping over you. My head was ahead of schedule, I guess. So we are a bit ahead of schedule, but I can go in and we have some questions that we've gotten from our audience. So I can read through them, and anyone that wants to answer them can jump right in. So question number 1, how can we effectively advocate for initiatives, grants, and incentives for women in skilled trades? STEM in provinces or regions that currently lack such specific support. So would anyone like to take that question on?
I would say I'll take that. It's Rock. When it comes to advocating for grants and incentive, is being able to be at the table where decisions are being made, being able to also talk to your MPs or to the provincial and the federal government. They do have quite a few grants and quite a few incentives that are there. As our union, we do have incentive for the sisters and the siblings so that their courses are taken care of, like the basic, intermediate, the tuition are taken care of, so on and so forth. So being able to really have a proposal perhaps to the government would be really essential, very important, because they'll be able to provide more incentive. If we have also organizations, like I went to George Brown College graduation few months ago, and they had a lot of organizations that were providing grants and scholarship for people to apply, and I think they offered about 500. No, I don't want to give them a number because I can't remember the total, but there are a lot of scholarship that are being offered, a lot of incentive, a lot of grants. And if you go into the government website, the informations are there. We do have like when you finish every term of your apprenticeship, you do get incentive that are federal incentive and provincial incentive. Whereas, for instance, when you complete one, you get $1,000. It used to be 3,000 for women and 1,000 for men, but they did mention that there is more coming up. Thank you.
Thanks, Rock. I have another question here, and I'll just read it off. And if any one of the panelists would like to answer this question, that would be wonderful. So this question: I aim to mentor women and introduce young girls to career opportunities in trades, especially in areas without existing programs. What strategies would you recommend for starting and growing such programs on both small and larger scale?
I'll just do a quick comment on this one first. Just in case you're unaware, the Canadian Apprenticeship Forum has actually just started a national mentor database. So definitely look them up online. I believe they're still accepting applications for mentoring women in the skilled trades.
Also, when it comes to add to what Brandy is saying, what you could do also for strategies is inviting SMEs or experts who will be able to talk to those young people, because when it comes to mentorship, it needs to also be something where it clicks and they could connect and they understand each other, so that that person will be able to guide you. It's not just anybody that will be able to really mentor X or Y and Z. So it's really good to really make sure that that person is able to connect and learn from it, and not only getting mentorship in that said field, but also personally, so that they could grow as an individual. So it's really essential. So being able to also maybe research not only what Brandy said, but research also, like TRIAC has a great mentorship program for newcomers. Let's say Toronto Community Benefit Network has the Next Gen Mentorship Program, where you have people in construction and different unions. They partner with about 12 unions. And then from there, you have people from different industries, from different walks of life, that are able to really guide you properly. And then you have also the master mentors. So just doing the necessary research, and then being able to connect with people who are in the field, and being able to have them talk to those youth is really key. So from there, you'll be able to get holistic action plan. Thank you.
And I wonder if I might just add to what Rock was mentioning, is that in addition to folks coming and chatting, and sometimes it's a big ask, but if it's an option to go and try the trade as well, and like practice using those tools and getting some experience in it, that might spark something as well, to encourage girls entering into trades as well, just trying it out.
Thanks, Christine. Here's another question from the audience. What do you enjoy most about working in the trades? I'm thinking of how we might attract women to trades by highlighting the joys and opportunities. Great question. And I will let anyone jump into that.
Yeah, this is awesome. I want to say one thing that I love is that I've worked through a recession and most recently a pandemic. So when you want to talk about, just job security, it's incredible, as well as future opportunities. I would have never have thought I would have had an opportunity to be a college instructor or even an entrepreneur, let alone all the other highlights that I've been enjoying throughout my career. It truly is a career. It's not a job. I don't punch a clock. And then I would say the transferable life skills are something that was also unexpected. I got a little place up north that's off the grid. I do all of my own work, and it's extremely satisfying not to have to pick up the phone. Even though like I'm not a plumber, I can swap out a toilet, change a set of taps because I'm comfortable working with tools. So these are real life skills. And I say like I get a little bit of a, little bit of pride in myself every time I do something by myself. I love it. So one of my joys.
And to add to that, I just love Brandy. To add to that, when it comes to when you finish your work, when you're driving around the city, you'll be like, I've done that. I was part of that project. I built that. And you see those tangible, like you achieve something, and then during the day when you're working, you're literally problem solving, you're being creative, you're there, like you're a team player, you work with the team, making sure that we all get home safe. So it's just something that is amazing. Because I'm trying to search the word to see what it is, but I just love it, yes.
I think for me, the thing I love the most about horticulture, like I love plants. And there are so many plants to love. And really connected to plants are people, because people's relationship with plants are so intertwined. And to know plants is to get to know people and build relationships and see how the clients that we had when we first started our business are still clients now, and we've seen them grow and their families grow, and we're connected into that community. Or see students start in level 1 apprenticeship and then continue on to, and watching them grow alongside the plants is really rewarding. So loving plants and loving people and being part of that community, that trades community, has really been a highlight for me.
I'll answer on that as well. Some of the things that I really enjoyed about being an electrician was the fact that I had some lifelong friends now from the trade, and the joys I get from just working with my hands, and like just I like a challenge. So I think that every day when I go to work, it's like troubleshooting. It comes with its challenges, and I just really enjoy that. Like I still have an office job and everything, and it was great. But coming into the trade and being out there, physically out there, just having that physically being on the field, it was very rewarding. Seeing your finished product is rewarding. And then what Brandy said during COVID was having that job security where I was able to work, and not just in one city, but the fact that I was able to travel for work and see all these different places, meet all these different people, that I think for me that was very rewarding for myself. So that's what I liked about most about my trade.
I'll comment on that as well. I've had a fantastic career, and the one thing that the trades gave me and that certificate of qualification was opportunity. And it's a career path. It's like anything else. I worked residential initially, then I joined the Carpenters Union. Was the first female in the Carpenters Union in Sault Ste. Marie back in the 80s. And then a whole different world opened up to that commercial construction, industrial construction, which I loved. And then again, opportunities just, they come. Sometimes you have to go after them, but the biggest thing that the trades have given me is opportunity. And you steer your own career, and it's independence. You know, you have financial independence, and that is really important. So that was a great question. I have another question here. What are the key barriers you see to women and gender diverse people entering the trades?
Just in a word, because I know we're getting short on time, it's the culture. We're still dealing with that. We need an evolution for our culture. Personally, that's where my efforts have shifted, as I spoke about earlier. And sometimes it's just, if you've got that thicker skin and you get started, it'll usually be okay. Or if you've got a leg up, so maybe you know somebody to get in, that helps. Maybe you have families. A couple of people have talked about that. That will help you. It also helps you have a protective layer around you. But in general, obviously the numbers are low. We represent the 5%. So it's the culture in a nutshell.
So add to that, for some sisters, it's usually childcare could be one of the barrier, because but it's not only for the sisters, but also we have those single fathers as well. So because of the unique hours of construction, they could be a reason why they will not be able to go, because at the end of the day, the employers are running a business. The work needs to be done on time. So one of those barriers will be that.
Okay, I have another question I'm going to read. I would love to hear more about how women are uniquely positioned to apply sustainable building practices on the job.
I think just in general, we bring a different point of view. We have a different voice and a different way of tackling projects. And that in itself can really help implement more sustainable products and practices in each of our industries. That's why a diverse workforce to me is a no-brainer. Why would you not want to have all of these different points of view? Because that means you have all of your bases covered. I do the same job as my male counterparts, but I can tell you I do it very differently. I always arrive at the same conclusion and I can get it done on a timely basis, but my thought process is completely different. And as the only female that I haven't had that experience to have a sister on a job site, yeah, sometimes my male counterparts, when I start a job, they might kind of look at me sideways and then they're like, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. But it's just that, you know, we're all built a little differently, and we're wired differently. So, you know, it's just, I believe our perspective and our voice and our point of view on tackling projects is one way that we accomplish that.
I think Brandy really answered it. Usually when it comes to health and safety, when it comes to women, like I was mentioning earlier, women are really vulnerable when it comes to climate and environmental and stuff. And then we focus a lot on health and safety, making sure that things are there. I'm not saying that the men are not doing it, but it's something that is really important. And then, like she said, we bring a diverse perspective on things. So being able to have women leaders, as you could see on this platform, we have their instructors, they're in the trades, we're all in there, and we're able to really make sure that we're promoting, we're able to represent, so on and so forth. And having women in the leadership and also at the job site, at every different level of the industry really will help. And it's a solution, like Brandy said earlier. We bring solutions. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question here too. Can you speak to some of the challenges and ways to encourage more young women from racialized communities to pursue the trade? Can you talk about how you bring Indigenous perspectives and decolonization into defining climate literacy and inclusive equality?
Maybe I can start. Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Rock.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking maybe from a personal perspective, a good starting place is a personal journey and investigation into these topics and understand the history and the truth of what happened and what is happening and how that impacts what's currently happening, and then trying to be part of changing that that narrative moving forward has been an important piece of that puzzle for me.
And for the first question, when it comes to doing the outreach is really key. So for us, the Carpenters Union, we take pride in going and doing the outreach at the communities where where it's underrepresented. So we usually go to different. We collaborate with a lot of organization. We go at the core. TCBN, Toronto Community Benefit Network, been really essential at doing that as well, making sure that community benefit agreements are at the core for when developers are really hiring. So making sure that there is at least minimum 10% hiring target to racialized communities, to women, to the BIPOC community, indigenous communities, people of color, so on and so forth. And that's something that been years and years and years. They've been in, like TCBN just reached their 10th year. And at this moment, they make sure that they go to every different, like these major projects, for instance, the LRT, sorry. There's also the Ontario line that is coming up that's going to take maybe 10 years or more to build. So making sure that those developers are hiring people in those that reside on those communities so that they could have great careers into the skilled trade is really important. So the outreach is being done, the work is being done. There's still a long way to get there, but also having people like myself and the indigenous communities, like these sisters who are here, being able to really promote and talk about the trades, talk about what we could do really to impact and empower positively is really essential. And also thanking the organization also having this platform. So there's still work, but as long as we're going there and making sure that it's being done, and that's what we've been doing, really. Yeah. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thanks, Rob. Some things that we've done, I mentioned earlier, is when we have our pre-apprenticeship, they are geared towards Indigenous women as well. They're open to all, but geared towards Indigenous women, and we've had huge successes running those programs. So that definitely, if we continue to do that, is helpful. So to the panelists, can you speak about the hours involved in the trade? One of the barriers that I've heard from some women is the long hours are difficult, specifically in the solar industry, when installers might be on the roof for 10 hours plus a day. And what can be done about these long hours?
I'll comment first on that. It's one thing I'm talking to some employers about. Yeah, personally, I can even say that depending on your industry, we're working like a 7 to 3, sometimes an 8 to 4. And my industry specifically, we cover an on-call schedule. So, I mean, I've had, 16, 20-hour days where even I'm up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning if the phone rings, and I've got to get up, get in the van and go. So one of the conversations I'm trying to have through my education with employers is to say, what if we just offered one additional option, right? So what if you do run a 7 to 3 job site right now? What if you just try to implement, whether that be a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6, what would that look like? And unfortunately, I can't speak for solar, but maybe Nikki can. Certain jobs, certain companies and job sites, it will be possible, and others it might not. Like a construction site might be locked up at a certain time at the end of the day, and you can't extend those hours. But a trade where there's a service aspect for it, like electrical or HVAC or plumbing, those companies actually would benefit from a longer hour, because when the service calls come in at 4 o'clock, you now have a person on staff that's working regular time, maybe until 5 or 6. That means you can provide a better service to your customer at charging them only regular time. So it's actually a win-win for everyone. The other thing I think that, although it seems a little bit more out of the box, is what if we did have some form of childcare that was geared towards the skilled trades industry? What if we had a childcare facility that was opened earlier? How would that work out, right? So again, these are different conversations that is going to be specific to individuals, each individual's trade, and also employers.
I'll comment on that. I'll answer that question as well. I've worked various hours where I went from just 2 hours in one day to a maximum of 20 hours one day. So like, yeah, there's a lot. You work long hours as a woman in the trade sometimes. You know, I was fortunate enough to get I was fortunate enough to get more hours than my like male peers. Just because like I went to work and showed that I was capable of doing the job. And I was just like, I was able to like demonstrate that I was able to like execute these tasks. And what the long hours on the roof is no joke. So with the solar industry, yeah, the journeymen that I worked with, they implemented breaks. So usually if it's a hotter day, like they don't let us work if it's past a certain temperature, obviously because of safety reasons. And then because I live in Manitoba and then it's in the north. And then I did a lot of solar installations in the north. Obviously you can work when it's like -40. Sometimes you have to, depending on if it's a service call. But yeah, no, that's up to I think it's, for me, it was up to the companies individually on how they were approaching the hours per day. I was fortunate enough to work with a company that listened to their employees. And I just because it varies through different provinces, and I just wasn't I'm not very sure how to answer that based off different provinces, but what can be done about working long days is just like talking to your employer, and then so you guys both have an understanding of like what kind of work schedule that you can work. I'm not sure about about the child aspect. Just I'm not I don't have kids myself, but I have colleagues that have kids, other women who are in the trade, and I know that one of their major things was the childcare aspect, and they worked with our employers worked with them to make sure that there was a fixed schedule for them to be able to have time with their family and their children. So I was just fortunate enough to do that, and for my colleagues to have that for themselves and their family.
Thanks, Nikki. Okay, so we have one question here that's awesome. How do we increase male participation in women's supporting events? Does anyone want to take that? How do we increase male participation in women's supporting events?
Yeah, they just have to show up.
Yeah.
It's an open door. It's you don't need a membership card to get in. I was on a panel this morning, believe it or not, and we talked about this with there's a Women in HVAC our Canada group, and they constantly ask, like, are men allowed? It's like, of course, absolutely. In fact, I truly believe the culture will change a lot faster when our male allies use their voices to stand up, right? Because normally that one person that might be doing something that's inappropriate, he's the odd person out. The problem is it's the other few people that are standing there watching that are afraid to speak up. So not only do we encourage, invite, we welcome our male allies, but I'm actually in the process of trying to figure out how do we get them to use their voices more? How do we get them not to feel like, there's something wrong with that? It's one of those parts of the puzzle that it isn't us against them. We're all human beings and we're trying to work together. in the skilled trades, we're looking for the best human beings for the job. We're not looking for people to hire just to check off a box, right? I believe there's a lot of talented individuals that are overlooked just because of that culture and that mindset. So I think how do we get them is just show up, and maybe as women, maybe we need to do a better job of extending that invitation. Maybe that would help as well into our organizations, actively get, you know, our male counterparts, our male allies out there, because really they have the numbers, so their voices could make a difference for us that much quicker.
Did anyone else want to add to that for our final question?
Brandy really said it all, but what we do also in our union is be more than a bystander training. Usually it was offered for our employers and also for the men as well, so that just when they see something, they'll step up, they'll help that person that being yelled at or bullied or harassed, so on and so forth. But what we realize also is it's a training that isn't need to be offered by everyone. So now it's being offered by everyone, whether you doesn't matter your gender, because from there, if anyone sees something, they'll speak up, they'll step up, they'll have tools and information as what to do, so that they're not afraid to take action, because most of the time people have tendency of being afraid to speak up because they might lose their job, or they might be laid off because somebody who's really doing the odd thing might be maybe the foreman. I'm not saying it's all the foreman, but you know. So having that training is really essential. And just like Brandy said, they need to show up, but we need to also say, hey, it is also welcome to everyone. You need to come. Men are there because without them, this problem will continue happening. So we need all our allies. And we do have the Sisters in the Brotherhood Committee, and we always mention that it's not a separate entity. It's us working together. It's just we're creating a safe space, because as women we're nurturing, we like to talk, we like to connect, so on and so forth. Not saying the guys are not, but it's not a separate entity. It is a one union, yes. So we just need to tell them come, and they need to just know that they're welcome as well. I saw a question regarding community benefit agreement. I don't know if there was you wanted me to answer it or not.
If you wanted to just really briefly answer it, and then we're going to wrap up.
Sure. For what I saw, they were asking, hold on, about how the negotiation is done. I'm just going to read the question. I think, how do you negotiate goals for implementation of community benefit agreement? Usually, most of the time when it's done in early stage. I participated one with Toronto Community Benefit Network, where they made sure they had people from all backgrounds, from all walks of life, from the developers to the business owners, because everybody, when you something is being built in a community, everyone is impacted. So making sure that you have those people from different backgrounds, so that you could get all the perspective, what is needed. We need somebody like Christine, when we're talking about the trees, the plants, so on and so forth. We need the business owner, because they'll be impacted if they want to open anything. We have the elders, the young people, so on and so forth. You need also people who are making decisions, the developers, the contractors, so on and so forth. What we've done also, we had to do need analysis, did some research, did a lot of focus group where we had to really have conversation as to what is really important, what are the problems that might arise, what are solutions if needed be, so on and so forth. We needed segregated data also. You wanted to make sure you do surveys from people from different areas, the city, so on and so forth. We needed also to make sure that we develop that agreement, like really setting up the contract. And from there, making sure that you get people's buy-in, and at the end, you just keep on negotiating, making sure you have the legal also involved, because they need to review to make sure the language is also the right language, and also that whatever they're signing, the laws, we're following the bylaws, and then everything is being endorsed, and also making sure that there's flexibility when you're building a said project, a said building or thing. So I'm done. It's my cue to finish here.
Thank you so much. I wanted to, on behalf of CICAN, the Impact Climate Project, and Efficiency Canada, give a big thank you to this fantastic panel, our facilitator, Jill, and our panel, Nikki, Brandy, Christine, and Rock. We really appreciate your incredible answers, the wonderful time consideration you've given to these questions. We've really enjoyed hearing your thoughts. So thank you so much. And we will be sharing the recording and the deck with everyone who came and everyone that registered. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Everyone have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thanks.